Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for WFIN News 2. At the current time right now is 5:38, and we are taking you to our traffic network, our Skycam network from the upstate. We do have a little bit of some slow traffic this afternoon, and let me tell you, after these gas prices lately, you probably won't want to drive anymore. We're going to type that in a minute. I cannot speak today. I know we should have had these already pulled up, but this is look right now at I-85 South, mile marker 51.2 in Greenville County, right there at the Harley-Davidson of Greenville, Harley-Davidson of Greenville. And you can see traffic is just backed up. Not really sure what that is for, and we're not really sure what's going on there, but we do have, of course, our crew, which is our Skycam network, over it right now, showing you what's going on. This is also a look on your screen. I-85 South, mile marker 57 in Greenville County. Like I said, just drivers just taking it as slow as the day is long this afternoon. But of course, be careful out there if there is any crashes. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but of course, actually, I'm sorry, this is Spartanburg County on our Skycam, or Greenville County, 95 South, Spartanburg County, or Greenville County, I cannot speak. But keeping you up to date with that right now on your screen. That's the latest right now. Let's go ahead and turn on to what's happening right now at our gas prices. Now, these are the gas prices for Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina right now. We do know that in Georgia, gas prices have risen to $4.04. South Carolina sitting at $4.11, and North Carolina sitting at $4.14. Again, this is breaking news into our studio, just as the gas prices are continuing to roar. And we're going to continue to keep you up to date with what's going on, including our gas prices, on how you can spend the less on your money, which could, of course, or spend less with your money on these next gas prices as they come and go, because it is crazy out there. Well, we also want to bring you some news on our news team. I do not think we have a graphic for this, but new in Anderson County, Crescent Middle School is soon to be built, and many people are excited for that. Of course, Crescent Middle School will be a new middle school. They're supposed to break ground soon with Anderson District 3. We do know that the school is, of course, we don't know the full info about it, but there is a future home of Crescent Middle School where you can find out more in a minute when we come back from our break. You want to have, just to give you the time at the top of the show, right after our break, after we do know it is unfortunate, sad news that actually a television station general manager, actually the television station manager of Greenville's WIFF4 has passed away. We do know that John Humphreys, we do know that former general manager of and president of WIFF News 4 has unfortunately died, and we're going to bring you the latest on all of that right after the break. We're going to tell you that and more coming up after the break. We'll be right back. Well, we want to say our greatest sorrow is among the work family at WIFF News 4. We do know that the former president and general manager has died. We do know that, of course, he was the assumes the role of the president of Hearst Television. We do know that we do know that today Michael J. Hayes will begin his new executive role at Hearst, senior vice. I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. We do know that our WIFF News 4 has unfortunately lost their former general manager and president. We do know that John Humphreys, who recently served as WIFF News 4's general manager before retiring in December of 2024, has passed away. Prior to taking the reins at WIFF News 4 in 2016, John Humphreys served for 4 years as a president and general manager of WGAL TV, which WGAL is a Hearst television station in Lancaster, Harrisburg, and York, Pennsylvania. The television station marked, of course, his 2016 appointment as the president and general manager marked a return for WIFF4 for John Humphreys, where he served his next 6 years as general sales manager prior to moving to WGAL. Before joining Hearst Television in 2006 at WIFF4, Humphreys was a director of sales for WBTV in Charlotte, North Carolina, as held at the same position as WSPA in Greenville. We do know that Humphreys was most recently inducted into the South Carolina Broadcasters Hall of Fame just a couple weeks ago. We know that Humphreys has survived by his wife, 3 daughters, and his granddaughter. According to the current manager at WIFF4, Blake Bridges, here is his quote, or his statement, in part quote, "Words cannot express the shock and sadness of the WIFF4 family experiencing with John's sudden passing." End of quote. And of course, he also said, in part quote, "He was so much more than a boss, a mentor and leader to us. John was our friend, our cheerleader, our biggest fan. He led by example with courage, empathy, and unrelenting commitment to excellence. He was truly one of a kind. We are grateful for the privilege and blessing to have known and loved him. Rest in peace, John." Well, you can hear the full story on WIFF4.com. But that is the latest on that right now. Of course, unfortunately, his passing, he has already passed, and he just won an award with the South Carolina Broadcasters Association. We'll on a turn right now to live local independent news after a separate vote to call on special sessions on restricting fails in South Carolina. We know the South Carolina Senate vote was a vote to bring lawmakers back for special session on restricted failed to pass. Of course, sailing efforts to redraw the state's congressional map this year. The legislative session is set to end Thursday, and Tuesday's vote would have brought lawmakers back in Columbia for a special session. We know that the votes failed to get the 2/3 majority required to pass, and this comes after former President Donald Trump voiced his support for restricting in the state and encouraged lawmakers to return after the session. The bill had moved the congressional primary from June to August, a move that election leaders say would cost taxpayers over $2 million. And we also want to tell you that this is unfortunate, sad news into our WFIN News 2 studio. We're actually going to cut into our traffic right now, but Greenwood police officer has died, and also the crash just happened yesterday, I believe it was yesterday. We do know that a 31-year-old officer in Greenwood, South Carolina has died on Monday, which was yesterday, when a 15-year-old driver hit his patrol vehicle at high rate of speed while trying to exclude law enforcement, according to Greenwood County Police Department Police Chief T.J. I'm gonna mess this up. Tojo. Anyway, but of course, he said that just before 5 p.m., the Greenwood police officer had tried to pull over a car that had been involved in several prior shootings related to incidents. The driver did not stop and drove away. We do know that you can read the full list, you can still hear the full list on WIFF4.com. Of course, this is a tragic, terrible news, and unfortunate as well. We're actually going to show you the image from Sky 4 that was brought to viewers about this incident. You can see and momentarily, the faster we can get it up, you can see the camera angle from Sky 4 that captured all of this. And we do know that he died. Unfortunately, we do, of course, the officer's death, or the officer's name, I do not think we have. Oh, yes, we do. Officer Don D.J. Keller was the officer's name with Greenwood County Sheriff's Office, and you can stay up to date with all of this tragic news with us here at WFIN News 2. And actually, on your screen momentarily is going to be an image that was taken from Sky 4, which is WYFF News 4's news helicopter that is able to give us the eyes in the sky that brought us this incident. You can see on your screen momentarily the awful crash. Excuse me. The awful crash that you can see on your screen momentarily that, of course, is now on your screen. This is the image that was taken from Sky 4 as the officer tragically died. Well, let's turn now to our Skycam network as things are looking nice so far. I-85 South, mile marker 57.5 is making its way on down the interstate. Of course, when we come back from break, we'll have the latest on our news and weather, when you can expect some rain to be back on the way, and more coming up. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you for joining us back here on WFIN News 2 for the Carolinas local and independent news here as we continue to bring you the latest on our traffic. Right now, smooth sailing I-85 South, mile marker 57. That is a good thing. I think that is great this afternoon for this time of day. Drivers are just taking it as good as they need to. So, let's continue to make it a great time, right? So, as we continue our afternoon coverage on WFIN News 2, we want to remind you that here on News 2, we will continue to follow our traffic and so much more. Okay, sorry. So, of course, when you join us back in just a few minutes for WFIN News 2 at 6, we dive in the latest on news and weather, plus which you can find out more. So make sure, like I said, to continue to join us here for WFIN News 2 at 6 o'clock momentarily for us to dive in the latest on local news and weather all across the upstate. We'll be right back.
From live to independent, we're the ones to watch in Fountain Inn.
WFIN News 2 live local breaking news at 6 starts right now as we continue our coverage after an officer-involved shooting in Greenwood County. We are still following this into our News 2 newsroom, and we will continue this coverage all afternoon. But first, we want to go ahead and bring you breaking news. Unfortunately, breaking news into our newsroom after the former WIFF News 4's we're going to bring you breaking news right now into the newsroom after tragic news to have to be bringing you at this hour right now. But after the former WIFF News 4 general manager, the general manager, John Humphreys, has passed away. This is again breaking news into our WFIN News 2 studio right now. We do know John Humphrey just a couple days and months after, or before, weeks, excuse me, before John Humphreys passed away. We do know that he was now placed in the South Carolina Broadcasters Hall of Fame today, or just a couple weeks and months ago. But we want to say it is tragic information to have to bring to you. But it is so sad, and we want to also bring you breaking news. After a former Greenwood County officer has died. We've been following this story all afternoon and all week, or all day yesterday as well, after a Greenwood County officer has died. We knew Officer Don DJ Keller died, who was born on 1994. We do know that he unfortunately passed away after he was trying to stop a 15-year-old boy in a Jeep when the Jeep collided into him. And of course, all the passengers that were in the 15-year-old male's vehicle were taken to the hospital. But we do know the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division is investigating this. And Keller began his career in 2023 with the Greenwood County Sheriff's Office, or Police Department, excuse me. In 2025, he became a canine officer. Keller served in the United States Army from 2016 to 2020, and he was an active member of the South Carolina National Guard. We want to ask you to continue to keep him and his family and his unit with the Greenwood County, Greenwood Police Department on your prayers. Well, in news 2 right now, drivers, continue to take it slow this afternoon. It is a crazy day across the Skycam network, and actually looks like I'm confused. Hold on, there's something showing up on our camera right now. Okay, must be glare. You can see on your screen I-85 South at mile marker 51. Drivers are, I don't want to lie, but they're not taking it as slow as they need to be. But drivers, let's continue to take it slow right now. Because it's the afternoon. People want to go ahead and get home to their family, get ready to eat, whatever's going on, and we don't need you in their way, do we? So, drivers, continue to take it slow this afternoon on I-85 South and many other places as we continue this. Continue this afternoon coverage with your local news and weather that you can depend on right here on News Center 2. Your Carolina's #1 for traffic and getting you home in the afternoons. Let's go ahead and take you a look right now a little bit closer to the studio, I guess. I-385 southbound, mile marker 35.5. Drivers are looking very nice across the upstate. Don't want to cause any issues, do we? So, I-385 is normally going smooth sailing, but sometimes around Brookwood Church, we can continue to get a little slow there. But that is all to be expected, and that is okay. But we want to bring you some breaking news right now into the news studio after gas prices have been going up. We do know that in Georgia alone, gas prices are up to $4.04. South Carolina gas prices are at $4.11, and North Carolina is at $4.14. As of course, according to AAA. But we do want to remind you that the less you drive, of course, the less you have to pay for gas. But we do want to remind you that if you can and are able, if you are issuing money issues and financial issues, you can work from home if you are able to with your job. But we want to remind you that it is still very important to know that with the United States being and continue with the war coverage, that's why we have gas price issues. We do know that President Donald Trump is going to China and we are still continuing about this, and also all of that and more. We also are monitoring the hantavirus, which you can expect and more coming up in the following news. Briefings after this on our website or on our normal areas. We do want to continue that. We also want to show you the latest on what you can look at outside of our tri-split. If you're new here on WFIN News 2, you know that we do this thing, or if you are not new, you know that we do this thing called the tri-split, which shows you different camera angles at the afternoon to kind of see what you can expect for driving conditions and just getting ready to go home. And we offer that to you at no cost, because that would pretty much be dumb. So we're going to show you both of our camera angles that we're watching this afternoon. We also want to remind you that you can join the GroupMe thread instead of our app. We are currently going under major maintenance with our app right now, and we are continuing to follow with that. But you can download GroupMe and search WFIN News 2 for the latest on that. It's actually at the bottom of your screen right now. This is currently a tri-split. You open the GroupMe, you can join the GroupMe thread. You open GroupMe and search WFIN News 2. And that's how you can connect to News 2 faster than ever before, right? We can do that, and thank you for watching WFIN News 2 at 5:30 and 6 o'clock. And remember that the news is always continued on our normal YouTube page. And launching the brand new WFIN News 2 Sports Center. It's on. All you have to do is open up to our WFIN, or you have to open up to the YouTube and you search WFIN Sports, and you're gonna find the latest on our sports for the upstate, with a little bit more tailored to you experience. That's on WFIN News 2 Sports. But we want to thank you for watching and remind you live, local, and independent news is always around the corner. So make sure you stay up to date with us in local news and weather.